Here we go. Here we go. We've got a packed room today.
Let's
Good to
go. What's
see you
up, everybody?
guys.
Happy Wednesday. Oh, we got a lot of familiar names today. Sean's
Got some
back in the
frequent
house.
flyers.
Yeah. Rod Williams is here. And then Prashant, we've been chatting on school and now we're in the same room together. What's up, man? Gwen is here. What's up, everyone? Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. So we're about to embark on a holiday weekend. Super excited about that. But today we are going to be talking about one of the most requested topics. We're going to be talking about ads. We're going to dive into how to launch ads, how to grade your ads, what kind of ads are inside of Agent CRM, how do we support you with your ads. We're going to be diving deep into this. So marketing has been something that I've been focusing on personally for 12 years. Agent CRM actually was born out of the need for me to create a platform for my marketing clients who were insurance agents. So Agent CRM was created out of a necessity to have all of our marketing tools built under one single roof for insurance agents. And we just have continued to build in that direction. So today we're going to be talking about probably one of my topics that I could like nerd out about. Like there's this Facebook status that's been going around. Like if somebody gave you a microphone and asked you to talk for 20 minutes, what would you talk about? For me, it'd be ads. Like I could talk about ads, with no prompting. And we're going to nerd out together today and really dive into it. So before we do that, though, Will, let's talk briefly. So when we talk about
Yeah,
ads inside
let's
of Agent
oh, wait, wait,
CRM,
wait,
we're
wait, wait.
talking about marketing
Let's just
plus.
cover two
Yeah.
things quickly, Alex. So this is a part of a new thing we've been launching, coaching sessions, live coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's also replays. So if you are not live, we want to make sure you know everything that we're talking about here, we're storing it on our YouTube channel. Now, some of you are going to come, you're going to come and say, Will, I want to talk about this. And we'll try to cater to who's on this call live. But we also want you guys to be aware that everything is being saved. Let's just share a screen here so you guys can see. Can you see that YouTube channel going on there?
Yep, I see
Perfect.
it.
So if you guys are interested in past topics here, scroll down and there is a live coaching replay. We've got some great content, how to generate more leads. We keep coming up with ad related content because you guys keep saying, hey, talk some more. But stuff like, what can the system even do? Some of you, it's like you're fresh, super fresh, and maybe that would be a session to watch. Some of you want to know specifically about websites. We did a whole session on websites. We might do another one in the future. So we've got lots of great content. We're trying not to repeat ourselves too much because some of you keep joining and you want to be challenged and you want some new, fresh content to keep you moving forward. But as I keep talking, I would love to hear in the chat below, how long have you been with Agent CRM and what is the main product that you are focusing on? What is your main product? How long have you been with us? Throw that in the chat. We love interaction along the way. That's going to make these calls super high energy. And then last thing before we transition into the meat of our ad conversation today is these are action-focused calls. If you guys are just showing up and thinking that you're building your business by sitting around and watching a hour-long session, you got to take action. There's a scripture, if any of you have grown up with the Bible, it says, if you know these things, happy are you if you do them. So some of you, maybe that's a little bit of a reminder today to get out your notepad, take a note, take an action step, take a nugget today. That's going to help you actually build your business. So we've got some feedback here. 3 months from Gwen. ACA and Medicare are your focus. We've got annuities, term life, 2 weeks, 1 year. Awesome, Rod. Thanks for being a part of Agent CRM. Life and health is your focus. Gwen says, I've gotten overwhelmed a couple of times. That was my first year working with Agent CRM, I'll be honest. But you keep chipping away at it and you become a guru soon enough. 1 month ACA Medicare. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, let's transition here. Alex, we're going to be talking to people about ads. We're going to be giving some tips and also maybe some mindset coaching because some of
Yeah.
you, let's hear as well in the chat. Have you ran an ad before? Yes or no. Type yes or no so we can kind of see generating fresh, new, hot leads. That's what we're talking about here. I see some no's. Yes, no, 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 no.
Okay.
All right. That gives us a great grid for who we're talking to today, Alex.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah. This
go
is good.
back
This is
to
good.
you. Take it away.
All right. So when we talk about ads inside of Agent CRM, we're going to be talking about an upgrade inside of Agent CRM called Marketing Plus. Now, when you sign up for Marketing Plus, and if you already have Marketing Plus, just put the plus icon in the chat so we can get a good gauge. For those of you who do not have Marketing Plus, it's actually included in our Black Friday deals and in many of our promo packages, so you can check those out. But when you have Marketing Plus, we have a ton of resources for you. So I'm going to show our resources first, and then we're going to launch an ad together. And then after we launch an ad, I'm going to dive into how to grade your ad campaign. But it all starts with the resources. This way, you are aware of how we can serve and support you. So when you get Marketing Plus, you're going to notice a tab on the left-hand side that has Marketing Plus resources. Now, in those resources, then what you do there is you first start with an ad launch call. So you schedule an ad launch. When you schedule an ad launch, then you and our team, we are going to hop on a call together and we are going to launch an ad that you have chosen that fits your product, that is tied into Agent CRM. We'll make sure everything is working and good to go. And that way you don't have to go, wait, I don't know how to do this. Like we will do it with you. And so that way you make sure that the ad is launched properly. And my team will show you what they're doing. Like the reason why we do it together is so that you can see the process. And then that way, in the future, when you're like, okay, I'm going to launch a different ad now, then you feel confident that you know how to use the tool. After you launch the ad, you wait. Now, Facebook is, if you're running your own Facebook campaigns, then there is what's called a learning period. Now, that means that Facebook is going to run your ad to your selected audience, and it's going to try to identify who is going to convert on your ad. Now, a conversion is one of two things. It's either A, somebody filling out a lead form. We'll show you how to set that up. Or B, somebody going to your website and filling out a form or scheduling an appointment. So it's either a lead form or they fill out a form on your website. But when you first launch the ad, Facebook doesn't actually know who's going to convert. It has no data to figure out who is the best person to show this ad to. And so what you need to do is allow Facebook to put the ad in front of your target audience. It's going to spend the money. Now, when you say I want to spend $20 a day, what you're doing is you're buying impressions. You're paying Facebook to show your ad to people. You're not paying Facebook for a lead. There's a big discrepancy there. So many of you have come from a background where you're buying leads, right? So you go to kaboomleads.com and you're like, I'm going to buy 20 final expense leads and they're going to cost me $30 each or whatever the cost is, right? That's not how it works with Facebook. That's good news and bad news. The good news is once you've got your ad campaign dialed in, many times the cost per lead is less than what you would pay if you were to go to a lead vendor. The bad news is when you first launch your ad campaign, it's going to take Facebook a minute to figure out who is going to respond to this ad and hone in your audience. So when you first start, you will see as your cost per lead will most likely be a little higher than if you were going to go straight to a lead vendor. Why? Because the lead vendor has their data dialed in. They know exactly where to put these ads. They have been testing these ads for a long time. They spend a ton of money making sure they get the messaging right. And so they have a very consistent cost per lead that they can bank on, right? You do not when you get started. You don't have that data. Facebook is going to work with you to get that data, but when you first start, you don't have it. Okay. So that's why we say wait
Yeah.
before you jump on an ad review session. If you were to launch an ad today, Alex's suggestion, don't even look at it until next Wednesday. And when you do look at it with one of my experts in an ad review
Yeah.
session so that they can review it. Set the budget to like $20 a day and then
Yeah.
just don't look at it. Now, hopefully
I
between
think,
then and the next Wednesday call, you will see leads coming in. But you do not want to micromanage the ad campaign.
yeah, I think what we're trying to do here, especially as people are new to ad launching, with changes to FCC compliance, with all sorts of changes in the marketing space, generating your own lead is becoming more essential because buying leads from some vendors, depending on how they do it, is actually not compliant anymore. There's a whole piece about gathering consent. I'll just take a brief detour to talk about consent. The
Yeah,
main
it's good.
changes that marketing in the United States, especially, you have to collect consent on a one-to-one basis. Now, if Rod fills in my form, I can contact Rod, but I can't take Rod's form. Imagine I'm a lead vendor. I can't take Rod's form and sell Rod's consent to Sean. Sean didn't give consent. You can't pass on or trade or sell consent. So it has to be a one to one. My form has to gather your consent. So some lead vendors, Kaboom is awesome because they actually build one-on-one ads for you, which they manage. So they are compliant, but there's a lot of sources that some of you have been going to and relying on the last few years that may either be on their way out or they've already
Mm-hmm.
kind of fallen apart or changed, or they're actually operating in a non-compliant manner. So that's kind of a little aside for a moment, just to explain the importance of generating your own fresh, exclusive leads through some source. Now, we're really going to be talking about Marketing Plus processes today, but we also want to drop some nuggets that are going to help kind of build a framework for what do you need to know about ad launching? What do you need to know about marketing, period? And really
Mm-hmm.
building expectations. This wait step, some of you have been Marketing Plus users. You might have logged in this week, actually, and you noticed step 2 and step 4. There are no buttons. We added that this week because we had people. I had someone this week or last week that said, um, they had an ad launch and it sucked and it wasn't getting any results. And we looked in and the ad was launched the day before and they wanted to
Yeah.
quit and give up. And they didn't even get to, there was no step 2 communicated. We did verbally, but it was like this false expectations or unrealistic expectations. You got to launch the ad. You're collecting your own one-to-one consent. You're building a lead stream, a lead source, but you gotta let the ad do its work. You gotta let the robots, the algorithms run, and then we move on to step 3 because this is a process that it takes some patience. It takes a little bit of expertise. You gotta turn some knobs, some dials, and then once you get to that sweet spot, you are just running. But Alex runs our ads, and he's always making adjustments. So, do you need to be an expert? Do you need to learn? Um, it's great to learn, and we want to give you essential knowledge. We want to give you the minimum. What's that term? The minimum viable dose, or just
Yes.
enough to get you going. That's the goal on these calls here. So talk about the review step, Alex. We've let it run for a week. You've got your ad out there. And what
Yep.
happens next?
All right. So you launch the ad, you wait, and then you jump on a review session. Now, my team's going to look at a few things here, and you guys, you're gonna get an experience in this coaching call that we've never done before. We're gonna bust out an iPad and actually take some notes together. But here's where you click to join a live review session. Every single day, there's an ad review session. That does not mean you should join an ad review session every single day because that's just not a good use of your time. But you should definitely, especially when you're in that learning phase and your ads going for a while, jump into an ad review session once a week. Just make it a part of your schedule, right? The goal is that number one, you get into a good spot with your ads. They're generating leads on a regular basis at a great price for you, and the lead flow is working really well, right? So you want to get into that good flow. The second thing is you want to see, are there new ads out there, right? Like, are there new ads in AdBase? If you don't jump on an ad review session, you don't look at it, you might miss the fact that we've added a new ad specifically for your product. The third thing is the cool thing about these ad review sessions is that the only people that are on this call are people that are action takers running their own ads, getting advice from our experts. So now you're going to get an inside view into what other agents are doing as well, right? And so one of the coolest things that happens on these mastermind calls, or in this case, these ad review sessions, is you get to meet other people. And sometimes the conversation, like when you first get on an ad review, you're just talking to my team. You're like, here's my ads, here's what's going on, but then there's going to be some times when you join an ad review session and, let's say Rod and Sean are in there together and, they're talking with my guy, Aha. After a while, Rod and Sean might start chatting like, hey, like, how's everything going with what you're doing? Like, what are you learning? Right. And now like we're all working together on these ad review session. So highly recommend joining it. It does not cost anything for a Marketing Plus member. Jump in to these ad reviews. You get there by clicking on the Marketing Plus resources and then schedule ad review session. And it's that button right there. And it takes you into picking the best day for you to join. You're not limited, but like I said, I recommend once a week. Just that way you're not constantly monitoring it, because it's just not a good use of your time. Unless you feel like something isn't working well, then jump in. So did you want to say something real quick before we go on?
I have some thoughts. I'm trying to think when to weave them in, but maybe we'll jump to actually looking at AdBase, and we'll kind of talk through some tips along the way. I'm even thinking, like, Alex, what would our ad review team even adjust? I know some of the answers like demographics, audience. Let's just start with the ad base, though, because this kind of takes us back to the beginning of how do we get an ad out into the wild. Now, some of you actually have ad content, or of course, you can find ad content floating around on the internet. You can copy and paste it. But one of the things that really kind of streamlines the process for us, yes, access to the team, but there's also this portal that we have here. It's called AdBase. So this is part of the upgraded plan. I'm clicking on AdBase. You can see this dashboard item here. And if you are connected to your Facebook account, what you're going to do is say, hey, Will, I want to launch a new ad. Click launch a new ad. Click on Facebook. We're going to find the category. I believe, Alex, you requested IUL.
Yeah, let's talk about IULs. Yeah, let's do that one. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So you find your category. You can see here it's all arranged based on the type of product that you're focusing on. So if I click IULs, you can see some of the ads that we have available. Depending on the category, there might be more or less. And we're always refreshing these based on what we see actually getting traction. Yeah. Does that mean it's going to work instantly? No, it doesn't. It has to be dialed in, but we want to give you every best chance we can with strong graphics, strong hooks, calls to action. So you're going to come in here and say you're doing IULs. You're going to see some of the options that are available. So secure your investments, check it out. That's what it would look like on Facebook. Some of you, you might say, Sandra says, I'm in AdBase. What did you click? If you have like the little, you're all good to go green checkbox, you just click launch ad. Let's actually go back just so that we can show again. So I'm in AdBase. I've clicked AdBase on the left-hand side. Account status, all good. So if it is not connected, this is a nice feature. If something is off, the dashboard in most cases will tell you exactly what the problem is, and then you can just click the buttons to reconnect here. So launch new campaign, Facebook, and then find your product.
Yeah.
So we've got the one that works here. I've mentioned on the previous ad call, I really want to nail it in. Sometimes some of you guys are super creative. Some of you guys are design eye people. I'm actually really proud of these ones particularly, but I do want to just communicate this idea that at the end of the day, it's actually about results. If you think you can do better, if you think you can find better or buy better, great, go ahead and do it. But actually, that's not the point. The point is, does it get clicks? Does it get conversions? And early on, I'm not trying to diss our ads. I'm not trying to say they suck. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter what they look like. It matters what results they get. When I first started with Agent CRM, Alex and I've told this story before, but I sat down and I said with Alex, like, I want to see the ads because I'm a photographer, I'm a graphic designer. Alex showed me our best ads, our best performing ads. And there was like container elements, like little boxes. They weren't even lined up properly. The colors weren't the greatest, but they were generating the most new leads that were actually converting. So I will just give that as context. I don't want to say our ads suck. I want to say our ads get results, especially as they get dialed in through demographic adjustments. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick an ad, and we'll talk about split testing briefly, but I would suggest launching 2 ads. You got 2 here in front of you that I'm showing. You're going to click on it, and then Alex, talk us through these next steps here.
Yeah. So once you click on the ad to launch, so what you're going to see, let's look at this page in depth briefly, just so you understand what you're looking at when you're on this page. So on the left-hand side, we have campaign type. The campaign type is lead form. Lead form means that when you're scrolling on Facebook and you click on this ad, Facebook is going to show a form directly within the Facebook app or on the Facebook website for the user to then fill in themselves. Now, most of the fields are going to be pre-filled, which is good and bad. It means that it's going to be super easy for them to fill in their name, email, and phone because those are pre-filled data points. That also means that if they're using an email address on Facebook that they just don't check, the default for Facebook is to plug that email in. And so what I've seen people do, do this only if you notice that you're not getting good return on your email deliverability. Let me put that asterisk there. So by default, I would say just use the first fields, but you can put in confirm email. And when you put confirm email, you'll start to see people will actually manually type in their email address again. And sometimes they'll put in a different one. So just something to check, a little ad tip there for you. But okay, so then we have the campaign name. They say optional. I highly recommend plugging that in because if you don't, then it's going to give you like a randomized name. And, it's just easy when you look at the Facebook campaigns that you have. Okay, which one, which one is the one that I launched on AdBase? Which one is the one that I launched myself, et cetera. Then your daily budget. Your daily budget, we recommend starting low. Remember, it goes into a learning phase at first, which means you're going to go for a week without checking it. Don't panic. Set a low budget and then allow Facebook to start putting it in front of people that engage on the ad. And you'll notice that leads will start to come in. So I recommend a daily budget of $20 to start. So, and then as far as your website, if you do a lead form, you can leave that blank. And then there's a field radius. That is the square mile radius of where you're at. I want you to ignore that field because we're going to do something a little bit different. So that's the first set of fields on the left-hand side. Before we scroll down and customize this ad, let's look at what you're seeing on the right-hand side of the page. You're seeing a
Yep.
preview of what your ad is going to look like on a mobile view. So this is like if I'm looking at your ad on my phone. Okay. So first, there's a couple different elements here, and I want to for some of you, this may be a review, but it's super important for you to know what this is. So number one, at the top, you have what's called your primary text. Notice that it only shows a few lines of text here. Some people get like really creative and they want to write paragraphs. And if you see some of my ads, you'll see that I have really, I call it loud text. You have loud text with emojis in uppercase at the very top. And then if you click see more, sometimes I go on for paragraphs because some people will read that. However, honestly, most people don't. They look at the the sentence or two at the top, and they decide whether or not they're going to click on the ad. Okay. So you have your primary text and then the media. Now, the media could be an image or a video. So in this case, we've got an image that we have found works really, really well to get people to click because they want to learn more about IULs. Okay. So this image works well. Underneath that, there is a headline: learn how to do insurance right. Now, that headline was written to inspire curiosity. What do you mean learn how to do insurance right? Am I doing insurance wrong? Right. So these are ads that me and my team have written specifically to generate high quality leads for IULs. And then underneath the headline is what's called the description. And so we put click here to learn more because we need to tell our audience what is the next step. Okay. And then there's the button text there. We put learn more, learn more. So, all right. So I wanted to describe that because you're going to see as we scroll down different places on this form where you can modify the text. What you're seeing on the right-hand side is what we have as a part of our template. So, okay, so now go ahead and click on optional info, Will, and let's
So
scroll down this ad a little bit
let's
more.
just talk the budget first, and then we'll move on here. What you can see, additional thing that calculates here. Alex mentioned you're paying for impressions. So
Yes.
when you spend more, you get your ad in front of more people, more impressions. So having a strong hook is going to make sure you reel them in because there's so much noise out there. We need strong hooks to break through that noise. But when you're in the learning phase, you don't know that your ad is getting in front of the right people immediately. We can control some things, but Facebook behind the scenes is doing a lot to make sure your ad gets to the right people. But you can see on the bottom right, estimated 86,400 to 101,000. What's going to happen is you're going to launch your ad at a lower budget. And then what you're going to do next is you're going to wait and then review, just like we mentioned. And once you get it dialed in, you're going to start to increase it.
Yep.
You're going to say, oh, it's working now. We got some metrics going. Oh, yeah. Let's keep raising that. And maybe every week you start raising it. We've had some agents spending thousands of dollars per month because they have it dialed in and they know that they can convert and work with the leads that are coming in. So you're going to, at the end of the day, you want results. And part of it is finding what do we need to tweak in the ad? What do we need to tweak in the follow-up? Some of you think that you're getting junk leads and it's actually some of your sales language or some of your scripts that need to be improved. So there's all different things. We're focusing mainly on the ad portion today, but I just want to bring that in context too, because our hope is to work with you and set you up for a home run, but there's other parts that are in your court, balls in your court for making the most of leads as well. So you'll notice here, last thing I'll say, let's put that to 1,000 and just see.
The reason that audience size is so small is because of the radius.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We chose the radius.
But behind the scenes, the budget's also going to increase that. It's just impacting the radius here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put that down.
Go ahead and click on optional info. Okay. So I recommend on every single ad that you launch to click on optional info and dial in your ad a little bit further. So let's go through a couple of these. So first, lead form. Out of the gate, you want to use a default lead form. So go ahead and click on select lead form and let's see if there's any setup in this account. There is not. Okay, so we're going to click on custom lead form. And then, so you're going to fill this in. So we'll just say IUL form. And then under intro, boom, portable quotes are always possible. Sure. Please fill out your basic information. Great. That's good for now. And then questions. The questions, this is the data you're gathering. So full name, phone, email. That's good. You don't need anything else beyond that. So you have the option to do multiple choice. You have the option to do short answers and appointment request. But I think by default, those are turned off. If you go to multiple choice, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's turned off. You can add it if you want to, but I recommend, at least at the beginning, just keep it short and sweet. Name, email, phone. Yeah, short answer. Yeah, leave that alone. Yeah, that's where you would put confirm phone number, by the way. If you wanted to say, hey, confirm your phone number or email address, that's where you would do it. I do not recommend doing that when you first get started, by the way, but that's where you would do it. And then under appointment request, then that's another field. And they could put in and say, hey, I'd like to talk to you at this time. So you can choose to add that in if you want, but by default, it's turned off. So you'll leave that one. And then your policy. So this is important. This is your privacy policy URL. Great news. We've got it written out for you. It's included in your bundle website. So you do not have to go and find your own privacy policy. You don't have to go to any of those different tools. You can just go to your privacy policy that you have in your bundle and link it there. So you're good to go. So you would just take that URL and then plug it into AdBase and use that. And when Facebook reviews it, they'll give you the thumbs up that the privacy policy is good to go, and they will approve your ad. And then as far as disclaimers, you can leave that blank if you want, or you can put in, I will be reaching out to you via phone, text, and email. That consent is also included in the privacy policy, by the way. So
I think something like I consent to be communicated by any of the contact information I provided. That's A2P consent. This is a place that you can gather that as well.
Yeah. So. And then under completion, that just says, what do you want them to do after it's completed? And so we've got this dialed in for you. So we say, thank you, schedule a call here, call to action to schedule a call, bada bing, bada boom. So you'll want to make sure that's set up. You only have to set up the lead form one time. And then after that, you can just continue to use it for the same ads. Now, for some of you, we were like, hey, what do you sell? And you're like, I sell ACA and this and that. I recommend a different form for each product type, so that then you can funnel those leads into the right new lead workflow. So like this would be IUL. We want these to go into the IUL new lead workflow inside of your branding bundle. The ACA leads would go into your ACA new lead workflow. That way they're on the right pipeline. They get the right nurturing emails, all that stuff.
Yeah. We've talked mostly about ads, launching ads, Facebook, AdBase. I want to take a slight detour just to show the automation, what exactly Alex is talking about.
Okay, cool.
Because there's other pieces like the Facebook land, but it comes into your system. And that's a super key place that some of you will need to understand. Inside of Agent CRM branding bundles, automation. See here, I've got like 50 tabs open. I never learned my lesson, Alex. Okay, here we go. So inside of branding bundles, let's say we're doing the IUL. Branding bundles, a full suite of every step of the customer journey, but the lead has to come into the system, and lead generation all the way down to renewal. Renewal is not in the IUL, of course, but for other products. You can see the full stage or progression. The lead has to come in through the top. So we're going to find lead from Facebook lead or lead vendor. And all we're going to do is just select the exact page is, and if we had a page, and then you're going to add the form itself. So I don't think I can, I'll delete that and I'll show you here. Add filter form, Facebook. Oh, I think it's a different trigger. But what you're going to do is just add the page. And once you add the page, it's going to allow you to select that IUL form that you just created.
Yep.
So that's how it comes in. They come in here. You get a notification about that lead. You get a app notification that says, "Hey, Hunter, your lead you just got a new lead." They're going to be tagged and they're going to be converted through the 2.0. So we've got a whole one on that. That's the new lead campaign coaching session where we talk about what happens once the lead comes in. But that's just important to add the action, the trigger, the form that we just created.
Yes. Love it. So you have so then going down on this page under custom audiences, you can ignore that one unless you've uploaded an audience that you really want to target, but that's only for, I would say that's only for super users. I wouldn't touch that if you're just launching your own ads. So remember how I said there's the radius and we want to ignore that? Here's why. Because under location, we want to target all of the states that you are licensed in, entire states. So we would click on states or regions, and then you would type in all of the states, literally every single one. So we're all telesales agents here. We all meet our clients over the phone or Zoom. So type in all the states. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to drop it into the chat. But then what's going to happen? So yeah, California and New York, that's awesome. And then go ahead and click on estimated audience size there, Will. Because that's going to it's underneath the preview of the ad. It's up on the right hand side there. It'll show the audience size. You can refresh it. Boom. Awesome. So we want the audience size to be a minimum of 1 million. That's what we want. So if it's less than 1 million, you should probably add another state. Now, is it better? Sean asked, is it better to have potential client go to a website or a landing page when doing Facebook ads? I like a custom form because then you just get their information right away and it's pre-filled. I like a custom form more than a landing page. Now, for Agent CRM, for our stuff, we send them to a landing page because for you to check out our stuff, like you're setting up a free trial. For what you guys are doing, they're just raising their hand and they're saying, "Sean, I'm very interested in learning more about insurance." All you need is their information. That way they get started on the customer journey. So
I would say as an asterisk, you can do both. And at the end of the day, you want results. The benefit of going to a website is that you nurture them and establish connection, a little bit of credibility. On our websites, you can see there's Hurley's insurance, there's his bio, maybe you have a video. You can warm them up a little bit. But at the end of the day, if you're booking appointments and closing, that's what you really want.
Yep.
So you might try like 75% of your budget on just a lead form and maybe 25, and then just have two different forms. You can track which ones are actually closing more. But to keep it easy and to get started, that's what some of you need today. You just need to get started. I would really stick with the lead form to start with, because if they've filled in a lead form, that means they've raised their hand and said, "Hey, Will, can you tell me more about this product?" Which in many cases is already good enough to keep moving to the next step. Every additional step that you introduce in the lead generation journey is going to cause a fall off. Right? Like people are going to, long form funnels. That's another process where you can have you can ask a whole survey of questions. You can get all their life information. But how many of you think, if I was to fill in that form, I probably wouldn't get to that last step. I'd be like, "Dude, you're asking me way too many questions here. I'm not that serious." So you can get higher quality leads and pay more, or you can get a larger volume of leads. On the other end of the scale, something like the giveaway funnel. Maybe we'll do a whole session on that at some point, but it
Yeah,
is a
that's a good idea.
balancing act. And what we're trying to do is get you results. Last thing I'll mention here, I see Sean has a question. Alex, you already answered. Um, One of the reasons why we want to add more states is because that's also going to drive down your cost per lead or cost
Yeah.
per. Yeah, talk to us about that, Alex.
Yeah, yeah. So the more, remember at the beginning, I said Facebook needs to find the people that are clicking and engaging on the ad and then submitting the form. Their goal is to get your conversions to the cheapest possible price. And so to do that, they will need a wide audience so that they can have a larger selection of people that convert on the ad. So I'll simplify this by kind of using a silly example, but it'll hopefully make this make sense. So imagine that Facebook has determined that the people that are most likely to click on your ad about IULs are people who love the TV show Friends, are Dallas Cowboys fans, and love international travel, right? Now, the amount of people that have that crossover of loving the show Friends, are Dallas Cowboys fans, and love international travel, there may not be a lot in the single county that you live in. But if you expand the audience to the entire state of Texas and New York and California, the odds of finding people who love the TV show Friends, are Dallas Cowboys fans, and like international travel are much higher. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Now, that's a silly example, but that is what they're trying to do. They're trying to find commonalities between the people that are engaging with your ad and then filling out the form so that within the target audience, the demographics that you have said you want to target with your ad, they're able to find those people at a higher rate. And so that's essentially how Facebook ads get more honed in. And that's why the cost per lead goes down the longer the ad is running. But you do need success. Like the ad needs to convert before the cost per lead can go down. So that's why we encourage you to use more and more states so that your audience is bigger and it can find those people. So, and then the last thing on this page, and then we'll move on to busting out the iPad and looking at evaluating an ad campaign. So we have ad media and ad text. So here's a fun little thing that we've started to encourage folks to do. By default, you want to use your template media. So just use the image that we've already got. So don't, especially if it's new, like don't try to play with something you're like, I think this image is going to work. Like just trust the images that we've got in there because we know that they work. So, but however, if you're, working with my team and you say, you know what, like I got a fun video that I made and I'd like to use my selfie video with all of the other text that y'all have written. What you could do is take your video and then click upload media and then shabam, you drop your video in there and you use your video with the text, with the lead form and all that. Just it's got your video now. So that's something that I recommend that you do after the ad's been going for a while so that you can test. The biggest thing in ads that is it can be a roadblock mentally is the testing process. Like what Will said, like, I go in there every single week and I fiddle around with things. Most of the ads that we run will run for months at a time because they just continue to work. Like I have one ad, you may have already seen it if you've been following me for a while. And it's our demo video ad where I'm like, hey, here's what Agent CRM is. And it's like a short 3-minute video. That ad has been running for over a year. I have tried to create new video ads talking about the new like things that we've been doing. And the new ones just don't hit as well as that old video that I made over a year and a half ago where I'm sitting in my home and I'm going over a quick demo of Agent CRM. That ad just works. And so we just keep it going, right?
Yeah.
But I always am testing new ads. I'm playing with it just to see what's going to get people to click on the ad. Because for me, I'm going for a click. So you got to test and play with it, have some fun.
Hunter has a great comment here. He says, I like the one where you're getting out of the pool all wet.
Yeah.
That's sexy. We talked about that, didn't we, on the previous session?
We did. We did. So that was one of the sometimes you get an idea and you just got to go for it. So I've been doing ads for a while. So I experiment a little bit. I've got a good idea of what my audience wants. And so the ad that Hunter referenced was me going, you know what? I got an idea. I'm in a towel, like I was in a swimsuit in a towel.
A little more modest.
I just shot a quick little, it's like a 40-second video, and that sucker converted. I mean, that worked really, really well. So anyway, looking at this
just a comment here, because we're kind of like tipping into like expert stuff and then kind of backing off a little. There's a quote. There's a quote that we have coaches as a business. We actually pay for coaching because we want to get better ourselves. We want to serve you guys at a higher level. We want to improve our operations. One of the quotes that they have that just stuck with me is imitate, then iterate. Some of you are trying to be so creative. You haven't even done the prescribed dosage. You haven't taken the prescribed or recommended stuff first. So I'd say like back off the towel stuff. If you guys are already dreaming up your own swimsuit campaign for IUL leads, maybe we'll save that for a second or third ad launch, but start with the graphics that are in here. Imitate, use what you're given and start there. And then we can get more creative. But definitely launch one ad and then launch a second using the content we provided. You're going to have 2 ads out there in the same demographics, and you're going to start to see this graphic works better or this graphic works better. This one's getting more leads. This is not. And then you adjust with our team. You're going to adjust kind of the ad spend so that you see ad A is really working. We're going to throw more money into ad A. Ad B, it's not working as well. Let's tweak it and decrease the budget. Those are the kind of things that we do on the ad review session. And then maybe next we'll do the swimsuit one with you.
Yeah. So you got the ad media, and then you have ad text. So if you click on that, you'll see the default there. And so feel free to play with it if you want to. We put our default text, but feel free to play with it so it has your brand and your voice. Just note, we know these ads are working. So, feel free to play with it. You are more than welcome to, but I would recommend not playing with it too much at first. And then we have the privacy policy. That's for your website. You can just use the same privacy policy that we have. And then the pixel, feel free to use the pixel if you have it. If you're like, I don't know how to set this up, my team can help. That's what the ad launch call is for. So, and then once you've gone through this form, so, we took a long time to explain this. Like we went through line by line so that you can see what's going on, what's on this page. You would just click launch ad and then it would launch. And then there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do something, bro. We only got a few minutes left, Will, and I'd love to do how do you evaluate a Facebook ad campaign and see what actually works?
What I want to do, because we're going to step away from we're going to step away from Marketing Plus for a moment here, but I do want you to know if you're like, hey, but if you're a Marketing Plus user already, you've got or should have the menu item. So this is where you can drop into those review sessions or launching it if you haven't launched your first ad. First one-on-one ad launch is included. You can use one-on-one hours with our experts for future launches. But if you are not a user currently, right now, Black Friday deals, we are giving, essentially, you prepay for 3 months of Agent CRM or 6 months, and we give you 3 months of that upgraded plan. So you're getting the upgrade for free, kind of. That's how it works. But if you're watching this afterwards, or you just want to know, go into extras, account upgrades, and you can always find the upgrade here. But let's jump into evaluating, because some people are focusing on the wrong numbers. Like cost per lead is something we hear a lot. cost per lead is actually not the best thing to focus on. And Alex is going to kind of break that down for us, because expectations, we really want to manage expectations and know that we're tracking what's actually important for leads here. So let's see if I can do this.
So I'm going to ask, I'm going to call on someone who has no clue that I'm about to do this, but I'm going to ask Rod. Rod, you've been with us for a year. You mentioned you sell life and health. Can I use you as our example during this call? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. So, so Rod, are you running Facebook ads currently?
I've been running some Facebook ads. I work with Hunter there, and so.
Oh, amazing! Perfect.
Yeah.
Hunter's awesome. Hunter's awesome.
Yeah.
So, so let's just kind of go through your ads and let's evaluate what we should be looking at. So, is it okay? Would you mind sharing some of your numbers with us as we go through this, as we talk about cost per lead and such? Is that okay?
Well, you've caught me with my pants down here. I don't know.
I was like, feel free to say no. Feel free to be like, you know what? I don't want to talk about it. And I can call on Hunter.
Good here in the last couple of months, but I mean,
cool.
But I've been kind of sidetracked. And I'm on this call really, Alex, because I've been using Agent CRM as, manage my leads have been coming in. I'm just now dabbling in it. Man, I need to learn about this marketing stuff. So I don't know if I'll be
You're in the right place today.
Yeah. So you have ads running currently, yes? Is that
I don't have any running right now, no.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, Rod, just because you don't have ads running right now, I'm going to go to Sean, because Sean mentioned he's got ads running. So Sean, go ahead and unmute yourself, my man. Let's go through your ads. Is that cool? You would mind sharing some numbers and being transparent?
Not at all.
Okay, cool. So Sean, I'm going to have Will kind of jot down some numbers here as we're going through. First of all, can you tell us what is the commission per sale that you make?
I'm okay. If you're could you look at my system and answer those questions? Could I share my page?
I want to know I just want to know your commission. So if you make a sale, what's your commission?
If it's new to Medicare, it's 600 and change. If I'm just switching a plan, it's 300 and change.
Okay. So, let's cut it right down the middle and just say average commission is 450. Is that okay? Is that cool?
Yep.
So we're going to say 450. Now this is, when we're talking about ads, this is our average sale value. So when you go through other marketing tutorials and things like that, they'll talk about average sale value, ASV. So this is important to know as you work on your marketing, because this is what determines your profitability. So for Sean, his average sale value is 450. For others on here, just out of curiosity, feel free to drop what is your average commission per sale. And then I just want to see what it is as we walk through this. What's your average commission per sale? Okay, so we have your average commission. So Sean, what is your average cost per lead that you're generating right now?
Sorry, I got two. I was on mute. I've got two ads running from $6 to $9 is my cost.
Oh my gosh, incredible. Okay, so let's say $9. Let's go to the very top and we'll just say $9 for this demonstration. So we got $9 a lead. So out of those, how many of your leads turn into an appointment?
Zero.
Okay. So that
and that's mostly because the system, I just got it set up and it's still not even working correctly. Like today, I wasn't even able to make phone calls or call these people back. So kind of been a lot of sticking points.
Yeah. Gotcha. So these are some of the things, like when he said $6 to $9, that's super exciting. But if they're not closing, something needs to be dialed in, and they might honestly be good leads. They legitimately could be good leads. It could be another piece of the equation that needs to be dialed in. But what we're starting to hear, it's not just about the cost per leads. Already we're seeing that from what Sean is sharing. So Alex,
And
keep
I do
us
have a meeting tonight with Shiaz or Shiaz.
Perfect.
Shiraz
Yeah.
play. Yeah.
Shiraz it. Yeah, tonight at 1-on-1.
He'll
Perfect.
take good care of you.
Perfect. So, so let's assume for the sake of the conversation that Sean is able to close 1 out of 6 of those to an appointment. We're going real low conversion numbers here, but I want to show you guys the math to watch. So 1 out of 6 is we'll call that the appointment rate. Will just for the sake of the demonstration here.
And
Appointment
Alex,
rate is 1 out of 6.
just as an FYI, $20 an ad.
Okay, beautiful. That's a good.
Ad spend.
That's perfect. That's good for now.
$20 a day ad spend.
$20 a day ad spend.
Okay.
So his cost per appointment is $54 if he were to get 1 out of 6 people on the phone. So we'll want to jot down for an appointment rate 1 out of 6, and then just put next to that $54.
Now, what Alex did here was he times 6 by $9, right? Because only if you're paying $9 per lead and only one shows up, you've paid $54 per appointment.
Yeah. And then let's say out of the appointments, he closes 1 out of 3. So his close rate is 33%. That would put his cost per sale at $162. Does anybody have any questions how I came up with that number? Does that make sense as far as how I did my math? Okay, cool. So what we're doing in this hypothetical example, 1 out of 6 of his leads turn into an appointment. 1 out of 3 of the appointments turn into a sale. $162 per sale, and he's getting $450 commission, which is roughly a 300% return on the ad spend. Now, how many times would you put $1 into a vending machine if you could get $3 back? You'd be doing that a lot, yes? Now, Sean mentioned some issues that he's having with the leads. This is why you jump on ad review sessions. And this is why, like Sean, he was proactive and he said, I got to get on a call. And so he's talking with Shiraz, which is awesome. These numbers right here that we're seeing are phenomenal numbers if they are to stick. So Sean, super excited for you. Let us know how it goes. So out of all of the numbers that we listed through this, and we're right at the 1 o'clock, so we'll wrap up here. We can continue the conversation in our Facebook group. Out of all the numbers here, the cost per lead is the least important. The appointment rate is important, but because we want to improve it, which is why we wrote out the appointment confirmation workflow that we did with all the different photos that are included. We want that appointment rate to go way up. Now, just for the sake of the conversation, Will, and then we'll wrap up with this because we do have to jump. Next to the appointment rate, where we have 1 out of 6 at $54, let's change that appointment rate and let's put 3 out of 6. So let's say the appointment rate goes from 1 out of 6 to 3 out of 6. And then next to the 54, just go ahead and put 27 in a different color there. Yeah. So now we're at 27. So then let's assume that the closing rate does not change. Now the closing rate, if he's able to get 3 out of 6 to show instead of 1 out of 6, his cost per sale goes down to $81. And he's generating a sale for $81, and he's turning that into a $450 commission. Do you see where you start changing levers and all of a sudden the profitability skyrockets? So we will continue the conversation. If you guys enjoyed this, put a 1 in the chat if this was helpful for you.
Yeah. I'm just going to kind of recap because I know we're going to have a replay here and I want to keep our time. I know we're pushing it, but this is super important here to understand that as you're evaluating the success of ads, it's this number. What do you actually make? And it's this number here. Mm-hmm. Because if you're spending more per lead, great, maybe not. Are they showing up? So you're going to take your appointment rate and multiply it. What we're doing here is we're timesing the lead by the appointment rate, by the close rate, and we're kind of getting those numbers. But at the end of the day, the main thing, there's lots of little levers that some of you are going to tweak your show campaign. Sean's issue might be that it's the appointment reminders or appointment requests. 2.0 new lead campaign would be the one you'd connect. But there's different stages you're going to dial in to improve each of those metrics. But at the end of the day, you want to see, am I making more money? Some of you, like $20 a lead, you're frustrated with, but you're also making a massive amount of money that you would not have been making. A sale that you would not have closed if you hadn't spent more on leads. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure we're keeping in perspective as we dive into the marketing game that the cost per lead is a red herring. It's a distraction from the real evaluation is how much am I making in commission, and is that sustainable against the cost per sale? We need to do a little bit of math here to understand that. And there's all the little dials along the way. So some of you need to rewatch this session because we've got the groundwork. The cement is still wet though. Some of you are ready to build onto the next step and get Marketing Plus or join an ad review session. Some of you are ready for your swimsuit edition ad as well. But we're excited to continue the conversation with you guys in these coaching sessions. Thank you guys so much for joining us. There's definitely a ton to learn, but you guys are action takers. You guys are winners here. Any last thoughts from you, Alex?
No, this was a great sesh. I know I'm 4 minutes late for my next appointment, but I wanted to stay on and finish this thought because I think it is so important as we look at ads and as we evaluate and as we set these up and as we go, okay, I'm grading these, what's working, what's not working. But yeah, this was great. I appreciate you guys. I know there's additional questions I see in the chat. Please drop those questions in our Facebook group. I will personally respond later on today after my appointments are done. I do have to jump. So I appreciate you guys. Sean, thank you for letting us be a guinea pig. Or thank you for being our guinea pig today. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys later.